Live, the dish coming from the scene. The title of this show will be called The Trav Restitution. Today, man, it's all about the World Series. We're gonna talk about that. We got a couple of little hits that we're gonna give y'all. Cat five, man, talk to the people, man.
This is it, man. This is why we watch the game. We're here. It's the World Series. I'm just excited, man. I think we're gonna get a hell of a series out of these two teams. We'll touch on some of these things, but it's kind of a David and Goliath matchup in a lot of ways. It's also I don't know, man. I've just been so happy that we've gotten so much good baseball this postseason. No sweeps. We've gotten, we've gotten almost all of the games out of these series,
Yes, sir.
and that's all you can ask for.
That's all you can ask for. And we got the restitution. Ty. It's not, I love it when it burns.
I, I gotta ask Ty, did you choose the background to represent your frame of mind?
Talk to us, Ty, man.
So something like that. I'm okay. As you can see, I can tolerate the man above me. That's how it looks, at least on my screen. Congratulations to Atlanta. I have nothing against the ATL. I have nothing against these Braves. The better team won. I have to take my L, and I hold that. And the Fall Classic is here. So Braves, Astros. I don't like Trav. I don't like Germ. I'm just gonna be here watching good baseball. I ain't rooting for neither team. But I can be objective and call out exactly how I think this is gonna go. And I think I may be right with this one. I may get into my bag. And what if I told you it's not gonna be exactly like 2019, but we may get a repeat of what happened in 2019. If you don't remember, I'll refresh your memory with your Washington Nationals and your Houston Astros. And we're kind of in the same storyline, like Storms mentioned it, with the David and Goliath matchup. No one saw the Nationals doing what they did in 2019, and no one this year saw the Braves doing what they did in the NLCS. Like, either way, if it was the Giants who would have came out of the NLDS, the Giants would have been expected to win. The Dodgers obviously were expected to win. Even when the Braves went up 2-0, no one really wanted to cash that check and say that the Braves definitively got this.
Mhm.
And here we are. The Braves, are here arguably without two of their best talent, but they're here because they are a team playing at the right time together.
Mhm.
And when you have that momentum, is great. And you look at the other side, you have a very dominant team that has dynasty-like representation, being in the Fall Classic several times within the last couple of years. But you have a manager who some would say should have a World Series by now, who's looking for his first one. You have uh, a few players that you don't know how many seasons they have left in them. You got some players that are emerging talent that haven't gotten paid and want to get paid. So could this be the last ride for the Astros? You don't know. But a lot of good storylines here. You got so many that, and we'll cover that, but I'm talking too much only because I'm trying to avoid the pain. So, Trav, take it away before I
it feels
start crying.
it feels so good, man. We finally got over that hurdle, man. Promise you, man. I promise you.
20 some years, 21 years,
21 years,
21
man.
years,
21 years.
21 years. Yeah.
So before we get to the meat and potatoes of this 30-minute podcast that we're gonna give y'all stuff just compact because we're gonna have a scene cast going on tomorrow, hopefully, around about 7:30 or 8 o'clock central. Y'all know what time that is on y'all coast. But before we get into that, I'm gonna let Cat Five start this off because we had pretty interesting news coming out of St. Louis. Cat 5, talk to us about that, man.
Yeah, man. So, anybody who follows baseball more than just looking at the news to see who's winning every day, it knows that Mike Schilt was let go as manager of the Cardinals about a week and a half ago or so, and the only reason that management would give us is philosophical differences. That's a very vague. Yes, let's use the quotation fingers. So a very vague answer that can mean a whole lot of things. Word is that the front office in St. Louis wants to take a more analytical approach, like a lot of teams are doing nowadays. And Schilt, being a very old school guy, I think there was a little bit of friction there. And, also there's some things that this game is becoming more of a game plan type of game. And what I mean by that is you're starting to see a lot more teams that are managing their games at noon, well before the first pitch is thrown. There's a game plan going in. This guy is going in the seventh inning, regardless of what the situation is or what have you. And I think he was a little bit resistant to that. As a lot of the older style managers are, they want to manage more on instinct and on feeling. And I think this is a move. They promoted their bench coach, so it's an internal promotion, Oliver Marmol, to manager. I think this is a move geared more towards the front office wanting to have. I don't want to use the term yes man, but a guy, just a more agreeable character in that role. You say jump, I say how high kind of deal. First year manager is always going to be eager to please, want to keep his job. So he's going to go in there and do what he's told. So, that's not to say that Marble, won't come in here and do a great job. It's just an interesting situation because the guy's he's going to be the youngest, I think, manager that we have in the game. He's 35 years old. He's going to be managing two 40-year-old Cardinals legends in Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina. It's going to be an interesting situation to watch and see how it develops. And good for him. I hope he goes in there and falls on his face because I'm a Reds fan, but no, I hope he does a good job and they still lose because I'm a Reds fan. But Ty, what you got, man?
I'm gonna say this, like Marmo, I wish you the best, but I mean expectations are high. You figure if baseball reasons and philosophical differences was the reason for getting rid of a skipper that did a hell of a job in Schultz, who ironically I think Schultz scouted Marmol, if I'm correct too as well. But that's a lot of pressure.
I believe so, and I'm not positive on this, but I'm pretty sure I heard earlier today that that he was the one that recommended Marmol for that role. So he got him his job as bench coach, and now he's replacing him.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I mean, that has to, kind of be bittersweet, but that's still a lot of pressure where you have a team and a front office that's basically saying, hey, we feel we're a championship caliber team. Now go out there at 35 years old and get it. So that's how he responds and takes, control of that club and organization to set the tone is going to be key. How he gels with a wide spectrum of age and wily veterans and youth will be key. And I wish him the best. I mean, but it's still a lot. I will say this: the best thing that he has going for him is he's taking over a club that is filled in a division of young, up and coming, hungry teams. That can be a gift and a curse. I mean, you have the Brewers, you have the Reds. So I mean, I would rather him get this job in this division where there's, a little bit more opportunity and less intimidation. Whereas if you had, the West, obviously, crazy, and the East, a little bit complex too. So I think for a young manager, the NL Central is where you kind of want to, get your feet wet, but also show what you can really do, considering these expectations and these high hopes. So, Redbirds, get ready. You got, a young one, and let's see what the young gun can do.
Um, my take on this is being that it's just all sports is taking that more analytical look. That's why you see a lot of teams doing shifts in baseball because the shift is more of an analytical move. Majority of the time, everybody playing straight up, two on the left side, two on the right side. You got your middles, you got your gaps. Who can play that hole the best? Now it's to the point where the analyticals basically making you play the way they want you to play. To beat analyticals, you got to be skilled. With baseball, with the shifts and stuff, you got to be skilled enough to hit it in that gap where nobody's at. They're giving it to you, but they're playing the analytics of it, of being like, oh, you're going to hit it to the left, you're going to hit it to the right. With this young guy,
if you only hit the ball to the left side of the field 7% of the time, why in the hell would I put more than one fielder on that side of the field?
That's the analytics. That's the analytics. So, hey man, hope this young guy do well. Smits, I mean, what 17 in a row to end,
17.
basically end.
Yeah, that was
and get them to the playoffs.
What was that? Was that the second longest winning streak in National League history?
Yes. So, I mean, hats off to the young fella. Hope he can succeed and get the St. Louis Cardinals back on this ship where they've been once before, winning championships. All right, fellas, we got to talk about it. We got the Atlanta Braves. First is the Houston Astros. Starting pitchers, Morton versus what's my guy name over there? Cat 5.
Framber Valdez.
They gonna be starting, man. Talk to a Cat 5, man. What the matchups looking like?
Well, so this right here. This is exactly, if you're Atlanta, this is exactly why he went out and got Charlie Morton this offseason. This is a guy who's been here. He's, as a matter of fact, this is a guy who's pitched in the World Series for the Astros, the team that he's facing. This is, he went out and did a real good job last year as well. It depends. It depends on which Framber we're going to get. We saw two very different pitchers in his last two starts. Game 5 against the Red Sox, he went 8 innings, gave up, I think, 1 run on like 3 or 4 hits. He was dominant. The last outing before that, I think he didn't get out of the 3rd inning. So it's gonna be interesting to see which Valdez we see. Morton, I think you can pretty much count on to go out and give you at least 5 solid innings. I think he's gonna go out there and give you at least 5 innings, maybe a run or 2. He's going to put you in good position. You hope that he goes 6 or 7, because I have a few more questions in the Atlanta bullpen than I do for Houston. But this I think is going to be a really, really important. This is the most important game of the series, if you ask me. That's not something you normally say in sports in the first game of a 7-game series, but like I said before we went live, told you guys, in Major League Baseball, the winner of Game 1 has won 21 of the last 26 World Series. So setting the table is a very, very big deal. And, obviously, of course, for Atlanta, you go out there and you take Game 1 and suddenly you've got home field advantage. And now you've got 3 of the next 4 at home. And you go out and win Game 1 for Atlanta. I understand they're up against it. They're not expected, to come out on top here. But you go out and win Game 1, you better not lose this series. Having 3 of the next 4 at home, you better not. But I'm excited for this pitching matchup. I think a lot of it's more gonna. Framber is more the key for this than Morton is for me, because I think Morton, like I said, more what you're going to get out of him. You need for Houston, you need him to go out there and have a dominant performance and take game one. You don't want to go into Atlanta at 1-1 and then have to play without the DH for 3 games. I think that's a bigger deal than a lot of people are thinking.
Ty, what you got, man?
So the curious case of Charlie Morton, when you look at his postseason, it's really a dice roll. The only thing that I would say can determine if it's going to be a long night for the team is his walks. If he walks a lot, like he did against the Dodgers, that's going to put a lot of pressure on the Braves. But if he pitches like he did against Game 1 in the NLDS against the Brewers, definitely gives a little bit more opportunity for the Braves to kind of get some momentum on their side. So not so much watching the pitch count, not so much watching K's. With Charlie Morton, you want to watch how he manages himself and manages that lineup over there, the lineup of death, with those walks. Now, what I will say with Charlie Morton is, and the Braves starting pitching, you just beat one of the best, hitting teams in the league. Now, not saying the best, but one of the best. You're facing another one. So you have something there where it's like, hey, we've just, minus, Max Muncy, but we've pretty much took on a great lineup. I mean, yeah, Justin Turner got hurt too and whatever, but you took on a great batting lineup and a great hitting team against the Dodgers. You just have to do it again. And the key with this first game here and this series, honestly, as much as we stress starting pitching and postseason, it's more going to be on the bullpen. And I will say I'm surprised that the Braves bullpen has stepped up. I mean, Trav hasn't had to cuss out Will Smith too much this postseason and towards the end of the season.
Thank God.
Because I mean,
there were a few preemptive cuss outs in there, but
so I mean, but I like Morton's chances in game one. One, because he's had rest. You're at 7 days rest, so that's looking good. And I will say the Braves stand a good chance to get this one behind Morton. It's just watch those walks. I mean, I know it's tempting to, when you get in certain points of the lineup or certain batters in that Astros lineup, you don't want to face them. You maybe want to test a little bit and see what you can get away with for a few pitches, but it's easy to bail yourself out and be like, okay, next one, just give me the next one.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll find yourself in some deep quicksand, with those decisions. So use those walks sparingly and wisely, and hopefully your defense can bail you out, which we do know the Braves have a very capable defense to do that. Just don't let it be a crutch. If you let it be a crutch, Charlie, you got a whole ball club that's going to look at you sideways, and you'll be yanked in the third.
One more thing I want to throw in there, because I forgot to mention Framber is he has struggled off and on this year with lefty heavy lineups. So that's something to watch too. The Braves, I think they have 4 left-handed bats in their starting lineup.
Your first three is gonna be left-handed. I know your first three Rosario, Freeman.
You're right. I was remembering looking back at you're right. I was remembering looking back at Boston's lineup. They had 4. So you got to think 5.
We got some lefties. We got some lefties coming to bat, man. The pitching is of course it's very important for both teams, especially for the Atlanta Braves. My curse out ratio now has went from 60-40. It's still 60% Will Smith, but now that 40% has moved to Luke Jackson. Um, Luke got to come on, man. Matzik is doing good, real good, real good. Save the game. Save the game, game 6. I can't believe you got runners on second and third base and you strike out the side.
Man,
Yeah.
that was impressive.
You
That was
strike
really-
out the side. Then you turned around and struck out 3 more, which is the meat of that lineup. We need all that and some. And our bets got to come to play for Atlanta. But this Houston team is so dangerous, man. We seen that game 1. We seen that game 3. We just seen that during that whole Boston series, man. This is going to be a very interesting series, and it can get ugly for whichever team that doesn't come to play.
Something another thing to keep in mind when you're talking about how dangerous that Houston lineup is. They've scored 67 runs this postseason.
Get out of here, man.
Atlanta's scored 40.
Get out of here, man. Get out of here.
Now, that a little bit of that I think is difference in. I mean, just the American League playoffs in general were more offense centric than the National League.
True.
But that's a big difference, man.
That's a huge difference, man. One more thing I do want to mention is that Lance McCullers. He's not
out
playing
for the
this
series.
series.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge. That's a big lick for Boston. I mean, for Houston. That's a big time loss for them. So we'll see how this plays out, man. We'll see how this plays out, man. Who are y'all interesting bets? Who gonna be y'all guys to look for both teams? We're gonna start with the Astros first. Who is that one guy you're gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna keep an eye on this guy because if he does what he does, it can be a difference maker.
Ooh.
We're gonna
I know who I want.
We're gonna start with Houston
right.
first.
I'm not. Altuve is the obvious answer. I'm not picking him for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not picking Yordan Alvarez also for that reason.
I think we're gonna pick the same guy. If I know Josh, I think we're gonna pick the same guy.
You know exactly who I'm going with. My favorite Astro, Kyle Tucker.
Okay. Well, not this time.
Okay.
So you don't know exactly.
Who you got, Ty?
I love this guy, man. Kyle Tucker is, and I think Kyle Tucker is probably a top 5 most underrated player in baseball.
So there's an interesting rivalry here that I had to look into. I had to think about it, and you know, I do a couple reading. I read random articles when I'm bored at work or whatever. I didn't say that if a certain company is watching this or coworkers. But anyway, there are 2 players here that were drafted right behind each other in 2015, and my guy for the Astros, I'm gonna see how he steps up to this challenge, but he has a huge chip on his shoulder because he was drafted, number 2. That's Alex Bregman.
Good pick.
So, and he went behind the number 1 pick. Who is that, Trav?
That's Swanson.
Yep. Old Dansby. So they, got a little bit of if I would say if there has to be some talking, there has to be some chirping going over there, and I think both of those guys bat wise, those are going to be your X factors and difference makers just because their history. So they're close, to the same positions, and like I said, when you have the top 2 picks right there, bragging rights. So put up or shut up. I like, that storyline. And I think Bregman, is going to look to solidify like, hey, I should have been number 1.
Hey, my pick, y'all know how I am about the midget. He's just a big time player, but this time I'm not going to pick him. I'm going to go another direction. I'm gonna go with the guy that goes after him, and that's gonna be Carlos Correa. This is his contract year.
Pay
Right
me.
now, it's not looking good for Houston. If you want to get paid, this is the series you get paid right here. They have no other choice. If you slap off, they got to pay you. Now, if they don't, oh, you gone. You still gonna get paid, but you don't want to be there in that environment and that culture no more because they're gonna look at you different. So that's my guy. I'm gonna go back to Utah. And who is that guy for Atlanta?
Oh man, so I went back and forth with this one because you have hitting by committee, so to speak, over in Atlanta. But I mean, the obvious choice is Freddie Freeman. That I think that's one of the obvious ones. I want to stick with it, but but Albies is tempting. He's tempting me. So um, okay, I'll do a 1A 1B right there because I still haven't decided. Yeah, and then Jock Peterson was in the mix too, just because he's been out of control with it. I think he's hitting over 500 this postseason. And he could be one of only 8 players to go back to back in the Fall Classic for a different team. So that's a
October,
unique play.
baby.
It's October.
If that is a motivation, to like, play your best for young Jock and say, okay, it's about to go down, then I don't know what you need. So my eyes are on, I mean, he basically killed, the Dodgers. I saw him do it and it hurt because I'm like, hey, you should do that for us. But yeah, I mean, it's tough with that Braves squad because, like I said, they're hitting by committee. But I'll take my 1A 1B honorable mention to Jock Peterson though.
Okay.
He
Cat
deserves it.
5.
Peterson is such an enticing pick, man. I'm gonna go with a guy that they've been missing here recently, and just came back. I'm gonna go with Jorge Soler because
Ooh, DH spot too.
yes, and not only that, I think these next 8 or 9, 10, whatever it is at bats that he gets in these 2 games is going to determine how much he plays in Atlanta.
That's true.
He was off. He was sick. I don't. Is he even 100%? Because I know COVID has a way of lingering.
Oh, the way he hit that ball in Game 6, he's 100%.
Because he hit one ball a long way, don't mean he's 100%.
I think it's just he had COVID. It's the bottom line. We know what COVID does to people. Believe me, I know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think he just had to go through the protocol. He had to sit out like some other people that didn't do it last year, going taking pictures out and stuff like that. We're not going to talk about him because he got hurt this year. But we'll see. That's a good pick though.
But and part of it is, we talked about it briefly when they lost him. Him being in the leadoff spot, it does so much for that lineup. It's the 8 and 9 spots become suddenly more dangerous. Even if they're not, because now all of a sudden you got a guy right behind them that you give up a walk to the 9 hole, and suddenly there's a guy coming up now that can play them with one swing and himself. That's not something. It's not something you get out of a lot of leadoff hitters. It makes the lineup a lot more dangerous. It makes it feel a little longer, I think. And so if he can come back and do well, it's going to give him another element. And so I think if he plays well, if he hits well for them, that can be a big deciding factor in the series. So
my guy, my guy for the Braves is Austin Riley, man. It's Austin Riley. Continue to do what you've been doing. You've been coming up big. For some odd reason, you've been chasing that outside pitch, man. Stay calm. Stay calm. Other than
My
that,
guy Trav has been on Austin Riley for 2 months.
oh my God, that's my guy, man. He been coming through for me, man. He's been
He's still
coming through.
young. He's still young.
He's coming through
Yes.
for me, man. He's been coming through ever since the All-Star break, and I think this is his time, man. I mean, hopefully our bats stay hot. Rosario still leading off that one spot and just getting on, just being a threat. Just being a threat. He can send it out the yard. He can hit in the gaps. He can do whatever he want to do, man. So keep it going. But Austin Riley is my guy, man. We're not gonna stay too long on this. Again, we're gonna have a show coming tomorrow around 7:30 Central. It's gonna be our scene cast, and I'm gonna have the link down there on the bottom. Everybody can come and join. You can talk what you want to talk, man. We just gonna have fun. It's just like another one of our DCs, but we're gonna be on somewhat good behavior because y'all are watching. So the closing thoughts,
Keyword
man.
is somewhat.
Yes, somewhat. Cat 5, man. Closing thoughts, man. What you got, man? Put it this way. Who do you got winning?
Yep, right. World Series preview show. We got to do the predictions.
Yes.
So just something we don't have a lot of time. Something I wanted to talk about. So I'll touch on briefly. I'm the stories for both managers in this World Series are both really, really cool and interesting. You know, Dusty's one of the most recognizable figures in baseball history.
Mm-hmm.
He had almost 2,000 hits as a player, won a World Series with the Dodgers in '81. He's the first manager to not only make the postseason, but win division titles with 5 different teams. And he's been managing for almost 30 years, and he's got a chance to finally get a ring as a manager. And I think he needs 13 wins next season to have 2,000 in the regular season. I mean, the guy is just world class as they come. And then Snicker is very much the opposite. You know, I don't think he played in the major leagues. But he's been managing since the 80s in the minors. He made like 3 different stints, I think, on the major league coaching staff, but kept moving back and forth like a player does from the minors to the majors. And, you know, he's waited his whole life for this. He's here now. It's just, you know, another element to the whole David and Goliath story. It's just really cool. Okay, predictions.
Dum dum dum.
Y'all gonna make me do this. Okay, so I got the Astros, man, but I don't 6 or 7. 6 or 7. I can't decide.
Ty is on you, man.
Well, forgive me, Dusty. Forgive me. I think this is 2019 all over again. It looks, feels just like that. And as much as I want to say the Astros and Dusty, you know, come out on top on this one, give me the Braves in 7. I just think that, you know, they'll get, you know, if they keep the game, if they don't make this a slugfest, they'll be all right. They've stood toe to toe with, you know, a giant, but the key was there is that the games that, you know, the 2 games they didn't lose, you know, it was a slugfest. So if the games are close, it works in the Braves' favor, and I think, you know, they're ready. They're here. They're young, hungry, and they got a manager of the year in their corner too. So 2019, all over again. Stick with the National League.
Cat
Caveat
5.
to that, Trav.
Yeah.
Close games but they got to score 4.
at least.
I said imagine number 5 with this one.
5, 4 is one of them.
Yeah.
Do we get 6? We good. I think we good. But as far as 6, y'all know who I'm riding with, man. I'm going with the Tomahawk Chops, man, and I'm going in 6. We're going to win this thing in Houston. We're going to win this in Houston.
Ooh.
We're going to win it at Houston.
All right. So game 1 predictions. Who wins game 1? Give me a winner and score.
Braves 5-3.
We're going to steal it. We're going to steal it. 4-2.
Let me get Houston 6-3.
All right. That's the wrap up, man. We're going to see y'all tomorrow again. It's 7:30. Singcast, man. Y'all be ready, man. Y'all going to be ready to come and chop it up with us, man. We're going to be there, man. This my guy Ty Through. This Cat 5. This your boy Trav. Guru should be showing up on there tomorrow too. So, hey, man. We're going to holler back.
And do come on the show, y'all, if you're
Yes,
interested,
do come on the
because
show.
we got a lot more that we didn't get a chance to get to in this show, and we would love to get y'all's input on it too.
Yes.
So,
yep. So, hey, man. Again, this the scene.
Real quick, Nico, keep your head up, man. So
we got you. We
start
got
some
you.
prayers, to Nico.
yes, sir.
Yes,
Got the whole
sir.
scene behind you, bro.
We gonna holler at y'all, man.